Hello, guys, and welcome to the third review of The Bad Batch. And before I get into the Bad Batch episode itself, because I have some opinions on it, I need to mention some things that I messed up in the first two reviews or forgot to mention. Okay, so first, I was not aware of the Kanan Jarrus comic book, I'm pretty sure it is. I was not aware of this book at all. So, yeah. Yeah, that was a bit of a stupid thing that I did. And also, how did the Bad Batch meet Cut? Because the one time we saw Cut was on a planet, and conveniently Captain Rex was on the same planet, but when did the Bad Batch meet them? Like, no story, nothing. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into the review on the third episode of The Bad Batch. Let's go. So the episode basically opens up with Omega setting up her own sleeping quarters on the floor. And about the time, Hunter said it was feeding time. So they got like ration sticks, if I'm remembering what it was, and Wrecker comes in, grabs his, and eats it, and he's like, hit me with another one. And we find out they're on a radish shortage, and Omega offers hers, but Hunter takes Wrecker aside and like, she doesn't have a place to sleep. Now you're gonna take her food away? So after that, their lights flicker. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember every single piece of the episode. And eventually, they crash land. They're heading down for a planet, and at one point, Wrecker's like, we're gonna die, we're gonna die, we're gonna die. And he just looks at Omega and he's like, we're gonna be fine. Nah, I thought that was actually kind of funny. So then after they crash, we transition to Kamino, and they are scanning Crosshairs again. And Tarkin is hoping that the effects are permanent. Later, another Imperial soldier, or kind of like the same rank as Tarkin, comes in, and I'm pretty sure this character was in the episode before this one, if I'm remembering right. Yes, he was. He was mentioning the codes to pass and that stuff. So then he recommends that if there's a new clone force, that we should not use clones for them and basically use normal soldiers, which they send them on a test run to the planet where they saw Saw. So then meanwhile, the Bad Batch are trying to repair the ship, and their energy source gets stolen, and we find out about the dragon. I forget what they were called, but yeah, I remember these things. These things were in Empire Strikes Back. Of course, they had to pander to the original trilogy people and not create a new planet, which is a little bit ridiculous, in my opinion, but we're allowed to have our own opinions. So then, Hunter, Tech, Echo, and Omega go and try to receive the part that was stolen. And Wrecker would go along, but he injured himself in the crash. Then the soldiers who were picked to be a part of Crosshair's group are talking about being a soldier and how the Empire did better for them than the Republic. So eventually they get sent off. And then meanwhile, Hunter is tracking the beast that stole the part. And he gets knocked out because the thing that was keeping him from breathing in the toxic air um, actually fell off his face, and he's knocked out for a bit. So then Omega goes and tries to get the part. And meanwhile, again, Crosshairs and his group kill all the soldiers. And when Crosshairs was getting just to the normal civilians, one of Crosshairs' soldiers questions him, and he gets killed for it. Because Crosshairs is like, do you know why they put me in charge? It's because I'm willing to do what needs to be done. He pulls out his gun, shoots him, and he's like, follow orders. And they kill the rest of them. And later, back on the planet with the dragons, Omega gets the part and escapes. They eventually go off, and yeah, back on Kamino, Crosshairs and his soldiers return, and they get assigned to their quarters, which is the Bad Batch's room. And also Tarkin and the other Imperial officer, that's what it was, basically discuss that the clones are useful for now, but they're gonna try to get rid of them. Like, when they serve their purpose, they will no longer need them. Which makes perfect sense because obviously normal soldiers took the clone troopers' place during the reign of the Empire, or aka the original trilogy. Then we transition back to the Bad Batch, and Wrecker set up a room for Omega, and she likes it. And then we transition again, and the Kaminoans are trying to find a way to keep their clone operations alive. But one of the Kaminoans mentions that the remains of the DNA from Jango Fett are quickly dwindling. But the other Kaminoan is suggesting to take one of the clones and clone that clone. Yeah, it's a bit complicated. So that's the end of the episode. Obviously, this one, I don't know, it felt very, very useless. This is definitely a filler episode. Like, it's not bad, but it's not interesting. Like, nothing about it is interesting and necessary to the story. And when I saw the trailers and the photos, I thought, ooh, Crosshairs is gonna go after the Bad Batch. But he really didn't do much. But hopefully the next episode will be good. Hopefully. And what would I have to rate this episode? I would give it a 4 out of 10 in my personal opinion. It wasn't bad, but it was really a waste of time. So, yeah. What did you guys think of the episode? Tell me in the comments. And have a nice day, guys.